Hello, welcome back. Ryan's Thoughts and Cars. Today's topic, men's health. There's something happens when after you turn 50, right around that time. I noticed it because I actually stopped working out or doing anything physical. And the decline in physical health was immediate and long term. It really took me a lot to get back into decent health again. Now, I've always been kind of fit, and by that I mean I've been active, but not super active. I don't have like a sport that I super play or anything like that. I don't work out at a gym 24/7 or anything like that. Never did. I did work construction my whole life, concrete, and the job kept me in physical strength. The one thing I noticed that has really helped me, so for any guy, hitting 50, was not having a bunch of weight on me. Like, I grew up with baby boomers, and 99% of them they all had the big belly, right? And I did that once. I was married, so 30s, mid 30s, I guess, and I did put a belly on, but I couldn't handle it. I had a little extra weight, had a little belly on, and I think it was the divorce that changed it. Really, it did. I stopped eating. You go through depression. I was drinking at the time, and just not eating sets it to you. But before that, I started working out. I was using the treadmill and stuff before I'd start a seasonal job, right? Like my seasonal job. So coming into spring, when we knew we'd start getting calls at a union hall, I would spend probably 3 weeks, maybe a month. Me and my dad would go to the gym and just use the treadmill, and that would, get my body back used to working again, and then I could actually go out on a job and not die from exhaustion or that kind of thing. I don't know, my view. What is my view? So what I think, for men's health, when I went through school, I did positive psychology, and in there we covered a lot of health, physical health, and how it keeps you happy, sort of thing. Now, people you talk about runner's highs, where you work out or you exert yourself enough where the endorphins hit your head to keep you going, basically, because your body is in distress. So the body releases endorphins, and it makes you feel good. It's kind of like a drug high. But that's not what I'm going to talk about. That has nothing to do with this, because working out to a point and then to be able to maintain it, reasonably. If you're somebody who lives at the gym, that's your thing. I don't need to be talking to you about anything, because you're probably going to end up doing that throughout your entire life, right? This is for people who don't. And so for men, it's stamina and strength. You lose strength and stamina immediately when you stop being active. And to get it back is very difficult. But once you have it, it's easy to maintain. We'll say that. Just some resistance training. I was using the elliptical as resistance training. If you buy a set of dumbbells, that's resistance training. Weight training, sort of thing. If you can do push-ups, if that appeals to you, do push-ups, right? And for stamina, like I said, the elliptical kind of covered all of that for me. but it also helped with the stamina. Now, 20 minutes on the elliptical every morning, or every other morning, was all I needed to kind of maintain what to maintain a spot where I felt good about myself. Okay? This is why I'm talking about this. It isn't so much to stay healthy so you don't get sick and things like that, right? The thing is that when you're fat and you're out of shape and you can't do things like climb stairs or go for long walks or you can't lift things, simple things around the house like the microwave or, the table, because you end up having to move that stuff around the house no matter what you do. And when you physically can't do it anymore, you berate yourself, going, oh, I don't have it anymore. I don't have, and I'm not talking about crazy stuff like going outside and building a shed or anything like that. I'm just talking about simple things like climbing stairs, going for walks without, extreme exertion and breathing hard. And once you kind of have it, it doesn't take much to maintain it. Now, when I lost my health there a couple years ago, like I literally basically I was supposed to be dead in the hospital, but I walked out. Kind of a miracle, but I rested for a long time after that. I had to, kind of, and I was basically laying around in bed. I could barely go to my job and come home, and that's kind of how bad it was. But I recovered from that, and it took me a long time, probably 6 months before I was actually feeling okay again. And the bonus of that was that I was putting on weight, but I wasn't putting on much because I was fairly slim at the time, and I just was careful of what I ate, how I ate, sort of thing. After recovering from the hospital, I learned that skipping breakfast was good for me. It worked with my body, it worked with my blood sugars, because I'm a type 1 diabetic too, by the way, right? I was diagnosed that at age 45, 44, something like that. 45, 46. I think it was 46. And they couldn't believe I walked in the hospital when I when that happened. They said I should have been in a coma. But I think, being in decent physical health has helped me recover from these weird, life-threatening illnesses that I've had, that have happened to me. Anyway, I think it's important for most men because I moved back to Alberta. Like, I lived on the island and everybody was fit, even the old people. But I moved back to Alberta and everybody's big and heavy, and sure, they're strong, I guess, but I see the old guys and if they're not doing their job, they're not working their body, sort of thing. And all the retired guys, it's pretty it's something that I look at going, that could be me, that will be me. I will be there at that point in my life. And is that how you want to struggle? Right? And so that kind of keeps me fairly keeping my weight off, and the discipline to, and that's a key word. It is a key word, because there were times I didn't want to go to the gym. Just go anyway, do the job, because there's jobs, it's stuff at work that you don't want to do, but you have to anyway. You just sit down and you muddle through it, right? Just get the job done. And I've done that at the gym where I did not feel like going. I show up, go in there, get on the machine, and just do the work. And 10, 15 minutes after, you start feeling good again. And then when you leave the gym, you feel good. And it's not because of the endorphins. You're like, you know what? I didn't want to go today, but I persevered, and I got the job done, and pat on the back. And it's something that your body and your brain will actually, thank you for in the long run, because you will feel happier. Keeping the weight off, looking good. When you put clothes on, you take your clothes off, whatever it is, it just is an immediate thing where it goes, I like the way this is going, right? I like me. And I think we need more of that, that's my public service announcement for today. Thank you for tuning in. I hope something hit a chord. Hit a like if something hit you that you liked, and I'll see you in the next one.